What's up, everybody? This is John G with another Pokemon Black and White battle. This one's against my friend Anthony, and it was a pretty good match. Sorry about the film quality. Tried to touch things up with Sony Vegas a little bit, but yeah. So anyway, we both brought pretty much offensive teams, and I guess we'll just get right into it. Okay, so I'm gonna lead off with my Kajando, the Mienshao, and he's gonna lead off with his Sawsbuck, and he's gonna switch out, predicting a fake out, and I'm just gonna go right for fake out. His Gengar could have come in, but I wasn't too worried at this point. I didn't want to over predict, so I'm just gonna go for fake out on his Rayonaclus, and it takes it pretty well. And at this point, I don't really have anything else to hit this Rayonaclus except for U-turn. So I'm going to go for U-turn, and that's actually going to do a lot. You'll see it does half. I mean, that is a Life Orb U-turn from a max attack Mienshao. Anyway, I'm going to go out to Windows XP, the Metagross, because I know I can take Psychics all day. I can take Shadow Balls and Focus Blasts. Not necessarily really well, but I can take at least one or two. But he goes for the Calm Mind, which is a little bit odd. If he had gone for the recover, it probably would have been better for him. But anyway, this means that I'll actually be able to take him out with this Meteor Mash. And luckily it didn't miss. But yeah, so that's going to be Rayonaclus is down right away. And that was actually a pretty big threat to my team because it can't Toxic Stall with Porygon 2. And it could set up Calm Minds on anything special. Anyway, he brings it in Empoleon, and I figure I can just take him out with an Earthquake. Or a couple Earthquakes, depending on how defensive he is. But he hits me with a Flamethrower. And then my Earthquake misses. So it turns out this is a Zoroark holding Bright Powder. And the Zoroark part wasn't too bad. But I did tell him, asked him if he remembered the evasion clause, and he said he forgot. So I was fine with it. It didn't really matter too much in the overall scheme of the game. But it would have been nice to have that extra damage on Zoroark. So here I go into Porygon 2 just to take any of Zoroark's hits. And as he switches out, I'm going to go for the Discharge to hope to paralyze his Zoroark and render it pretty much useless for the remainder of the match. And I do get a crit and a paralysis on the Sawsbuck, which is equally useful. And the crit didn't matter because, you'll see here, he lives with like negative 37 HP and gets off a Jump Kick. But this Jump Kick is absolutely nothing. And that means I'm going to be able to get this Recover off absolutely free because he's going to switch out to his Gengar. And yeah, so I recover up. And I was a little bit worried about Gengar with Focus Blast, but I figure it's not going to do too much, and I can take one. He goes for the Substitute, so I was glad I stayed in because if I had switched out, he'd have a free sub. And so I just go for Discharge again. Not only trying to paralyze, but making sure that his substitutes are gone. And so he sees that I'm just going to keep straight up attacking him. So he decides to go for Focus Blast this turn, and he doesn't miss, sadly. But anyway, so he goes for Focus Blast, and it actually does over half. So at this point, I was a little bit worried. But go for Discharge, and this is the second time I've used a status move with a potential to cause a status. And 2 for 2. I am 2 for 2 on status moves. So here I'm faster. That means I get a recover off before he can hit me again. And I know he has a quarter chance to get fully paralyzed, and Focus Blast only has a 70% chance to hit. So I figure eventually if I keep recovering, I'll get a chance to switch out at full health, which I do right away. And here I go into Dragonite, because I know Dragonite can take any of Gengar's hits. And if he does go for a Focus Blast, I'll be able to take that even easier. So it barely does anything, although he does get the Special Defense drop. But that didn't factor in very much to the final game. So anyway, I bring Dragonite in here, and I figure if he substitutes, he can't really hit me with anything too hard. And so I'm just going to go for the Dragon Dance. I figure he wouldn't substitute, because I would be faster than him, and I could just take him out. So he's going to go into Empoleon and try to take a hit. But I went for the Dragon Dance to get my +1 speed, +1 attack. and I go for the Fire Punch in this Empoleon. Now, since this battle, I've put Brick Break on Dragonite, just because I find it a little bit more useful. But anyway, third time I use a move that has potential to status. Third time, and that is a Burn. Yes. So that is 3 for 3 on status moves. And he gets Toxic off of me, which is basically just cutting my life, cutting the life of Dragonite short. But I figure at this point what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep Dragonite in there and just keep straight up attacking stuff until I die of Toxic. And here he brings in his Gengar, which is not Gengar because it's at full health. And it's actually his Zoroark. And it surprisingly lives. And 4 for 4, I get the 4th status move. I mean, I don't know about this battle, but the hacks were just mostly my favor in this one. But anyway, yeah, so the burn really doesn't matter on Zoroark because I'm able to outspeed him and take him out this turn anyway. And so I figured at this point what he's trying to do is he's basically bringing in all of his weaker stuff just to let me kill it off so that toxic damage starts racking up. And so he brings in now his Gengar, which is paralyzed, which obviously isn't going to be able to do anything. And so I'm just going to go for the Fire Punch. And the reason I keep going for Fire Punch over Dragon Claw is first because I know Fire Punch will kill, and also Dragon Claw is, in case he wanted to switch back into Empoleon, I don't want an extra turn of Toxic to take that thing out. So here he brings in, after Toxic, he brings in his Sawsbuck, which is still at that negative 15 or 50,000 HP, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just going to take him out with the Dragon Claw. I mean, didn't really matter, I just wanted to save Fire Punch's PP, I guess. Anyway, so now he's going to bring in his Empoleon again. At this point, I only get one more hit off because Toxic will kill me this turn. So he brings in his Empoleon, which I'm easily going to be able to take out with a Fire Punch. And actually, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, but I'm not actually taken out by Toxic. I'm taken out by his Rocky Helmet, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so that's a double down. And at this point, since I know I can bring in anything I want completely safely, I decided to bring in Kajondo again, just so I can fake out whatever he brings in. And at this point, he's down to his last one, which is this Arcanine. And while it wasn't necessarily a threat to my entire team, it could potentially do a lot of damage. So I'm just going to go for the fake out because I know it's completely safe. He can't switch out or anything because there's nothing left to switch out to. And at this point I thought he might go for the Extreme Speed because if he's Banded or even Life Orb, the Extreme Speed might take out Kajondo. So I go into Metagross to take the predicted Extreme Speed, but instead he goes for Earthquake. Now that Earthquake actually didn't do too much, so I guess I shouldn't have been too worried at this point. But here I know he can just take me out with another Earthquake, so I'm just going to go for Bullet Punch to take out, or not take out, to do a little bit more damage to him. And he's going to take me out with an Earthquake. And the reason I didn't just bring in Porygon 2 is I was really worried he'd have a close combat. And so, I mean, with Kajondo, he could potentially take it out with Extreme Speed. Both Porygon 2 and Hydreigon are both weak to close combat. So if I switch in on a close combat, I might lose one of them. Anyway, so I know if I keep switching out and switching back in with Kajondo, I can keep faking him out to the point where I can kill him off. And even if I have to sacrifice, everything else. But this time, instead of going for Extreme Speed again, he goes for Earthquake, which wasn't so much of a prediction as just I knew Hydreigon could take a hit. And so here he goes for Extreme Speed, and it does almost half, but that was because it was a critical hit. So just showing that Hydreigon actually has some pretty decent bulk. And I'm able to take him out with the Dragon Pulse, and that will be the game. And I think that was a 4-0 because I still had Hydreigon, Porygon, Mienshao, and Breloom. So yeah, that was a 4-0. Yeah, so if you like this battle, feel free to give it a like rating, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will try to get another battle up soon, and I'll see you then.